there are two transformations that you have to make. You can't just focus on one. You can't just focus on doing the actions and changing everything externally. You have to change things internally, because everything starts from our internal self. Everything starts from within. How's it going, guys? Miguel here with CFS Recovery, and today I want to talk about the two journeys that this illness takes you on. Now, in the beginning, when you start feeling all these symptoms, you feel like it's taking you on this physical journey, a journey of pain, suffering, desperation, and it's a very physical feeling, at least in the beginning, and things are changing around you. You're not able to do many things. You typically end up pushing and crashing a lot in the beginning of your illness. And what was once a physical journey that you're going on, a physical block, actually turns into a mental block. And it's a mental journey that you have to partake. Now, when you're down and out and you're in the hole and you're trying to get better, there are two journeys that you have to take. The first one is going to be the physical journey that you take, the external journey. Second one is going to be the internal journey, the mental, the spiritual journey that you take inside of your mind. And there's two different things. And the interesting thing is, even before I was physically getting better, I was getting better in my mind. I was seeing myself in a different way. I was more confident in my abilities. I was a lot more positive. So the shift that happened in my mind came before the physical changes started to happen. And that's not to say that this whole thing is just in your mind and you can think your way through recovery. No, there's a lot of things that you have to physically do. But in the beginning, to get you out of that hole, you're gonna need to have a mind shift from within, right? So let's talk about the internal journey that we go on. The internal journey is just as, if not harder, than the external journey we take. Because not only are we not able to do all these things we're used to doing, like going out, exercising, even just walking around and going for walks in the park, simple things like that. It's not just a physical limitation, but also a mental limitation, because now you start asking yourself, oh man, I can't do all this other stuff I'm used to doing. So in addition to not being able to do it, who am I? Who is this new person that is not able to do all these things? Especially if you're someone who's very active and used to doing a lot of things, used to keeping busy, that was your identity. So now you kind of lose that identity and you're no longer to do it. So then you start to ask yourself, okay, if I'm not this go-getter, this, person who's all about succeeding and going after these goals and always wanting to be busy and just keeping myself busy all day. If I'm not that person, then who am I? Then you start to have this identity crisis, because you're trying to figure out who you are. If you're not this person, then who is this person you are now? And I had the exact same experience. So when I got sick, of course, I was feeling tons of physical symptoms. I had to stop work because I literally couldn't walk. But once everything hit me and I was stuck in bed at my grandparents' house, the things going on in my mind were just as bad as the physical symptoms I was feeling. Now, keep in mind, I was having such bad headaches, I couldn't even roll over in bed. I was experiencing body pain all over. It felt like my body was on fire. Dizziness, vertigo, flashing lights, ringing in my ears, and about 30 other symptoms. But in addition to that, the mental struggle of, wow, okay, I just lost my dream job. I lost all the clients I worked so hard for. I was one of the top personal trainers in the whole company of over 300 trainers. And now I'm not even on that list. I'm not even last place. I'm in a different category. I can't drive my car anymore, the dream car that I just bought. I can't really go out with my girlfriend anymore. I can't just live this whole life that I was so accustomed to. And I can't be this person that I was accustomed to. And this whole life that I had built up came crumbling down. And so I sat there and I had to really ask myself, if I'm not this person, if I'm not a personal trainer, if I'm not this, that, I can't do this, then who am I? Who the heck am I? And that mental struggle was so hard to get through. And I really had to go back and take inventory of everything that led me up to that point and really analyze, okay, the person that was making all those decisions that led me to the place where I am now, is that someone that I want to continue being? Are those things I want to keep doing? If I go back to being the same person, I'm going to continue doing the same actions, which will get me the same results, which is not good because it put me here in the first place. So I had to go on that internal transformation and that internal journey and be strong enough to say, okay, I don't want to be this person anymore. I want to transform into something different. I want to be a different kind of person. I want to be more patient. I want to be okay with not working 10 or 12 hours a day and be okay not being first place and not being busy every single hour of the day. I had to become the person who was okay with that. And until I became that person, I just stayed sick. I had to be able to admit that I was wrong in all my assumptions about recovery and listen to whatever the doctor was telling me. So the mental transformation was very difficult. Now, on the other hand, the external transformation, I had to really just step into this new world and kind of leave the old world behind. What I mean by that is I was taking different actions. I was no longer in a rush to try to be this fit person or try to go walk for 5 minutes, going from bedridden to walking for 5 minutes. I wasn't trying to push myself so hard anymore, and I understood that it takes time to rebuild my body. And I gained trust in my body. And the physical transformation was just my stress levels. I didn't surround myself with all this stress. For me, the internal stress, I was no longer taking lots of supplements. I was no longer working insane hours. I wasn't sleeping like 4 or 5 hours a night. I was actually getting solid sleep. I was taking care of my body externally, making sure I had Epsom salt baths, making sure I went to sleep on time, and making sure I was like in a calm state. So I reduced the stress around me. That was the external transformation I had to make, was being okay not having my plate full all the time. So there was the external transformation as well as the internal transformation. And what I want to ask you right now is, what are the transformations that you need to go on? But first, you need to actually go back and take inventory of the habits, both internal and external, that led you to the place where you are right now. What kind of decisions have you made that led you to this place that you're at? What kind of decisions have you made that kept you in this place you're at? What kind of decisions have you made that made you go backwards in your recovery? What actions did you take? What have you surrounded yourself with? Are there lots of external stress and pressures and things like that? Now, when you take note of all these things, this is something that we do in the first week of the Recovery Jumpstart program. Now, I haven't mentioned it on this channel yet, and I'm going to talk more about the Recovery Jumpstart program soon on this channel, but that's all I wanted to talk about today. There are 2 transformations that you have to make. You can't just focus on one. You can't just focus on doing the actions and changing everything externally. You have to change things internally, because everything starts from our internal self. Everything starts from within. There's a famous quote by John DeMartini. It says, "Beliefs become thoughts, thoughts become words, words become actions, actions become habits, habits become your values, and your values become your destiny." And so if your belief is off and your belief is still, I gotta get out there and do stuff, I gotta keep busy, I gotta get better quickly, I'm tired of doing this, I gotta get better faster, I need to find the right treatment that's gonna fix me, that belief is only gonna get you further and further down the hole. So it all starts internally, but just be aware that there are 2 transformations you go on, the external and the internal. So if you enjoyed this video, if this video helps and puts things in perspective for you, then make sure to hit that like button, subscribe down below. And if you want some extra help, I'm still doing one-on-one coaching right now until we open up the Recovery Jumpstart program, where we're going to shift to group coaching. But if you do want to book something one-on-one and you have any specific questions for your specific situation and you need some specific guidance, then feel free to book a call down below. You can find it in the link in the description. It's a 1-hour call. And remember, you are just one mind shift away from living a life with thriving health. See you guys in the next video.